of course, makes it a perfect tool to facilitate some fights as we are getting into game, my friend.
Here we go, and it looks like all of the picks are standing between these two squads. Infamous Gaming, your purple team. Force Gaming, your orange team. This is our second match of the day here in Latin America.
And our first time getting to talk about Zacian. Kyluk on that for Force Gaming, using the Gospeler to A press down, and the Mr. Mime filling almost a true support role going into the top path where normally we send it maybe be a little bit more of a tank.
Oh, and you can see just how powerful that Eldegoss is early, as well as just how quickly Zacian can rip through the enemy team. Mimikyu and Dodrio, looks like both of them possibly heading to the top path right here. Dodrio making their way up, Mimikyu making their way up, and we could have a bit of a brawl here if they happen to see each other. And it looks like they're looking for each other in the tall grass, where Mimikyu is heading towards the center to kind of clear up some of the Natus in the center before the fight top.
Dropping on top of the Dodrio's head is the Zacian, and Eldegoss can't quite close the gap. Oh, there's Zacian over the wall going straight for it. Mr. Mime with a good barrier and a confused blast to get that stun on the doggo.
Yeah, and here we go. Nice big confusion, knocking two into the wall right there. Gohan making some big plays and pushing them back from this fight. Zacian in trouble, but I don't think they're going to want to dive in there. They know Mimikyu is there. Dodrio now possibly looking to steal something from the center if they can. Obviously, we need level 5 in this top path as quickly as we can for both of these all-rounders.
I'm just impressed by the Mr. Mime spacing that Gohan was able to create with those walls, and something that a lot of players haven't had to contend with in a while here. So we'll see how Force Gaming adjusts as we have this path here with the Gyarados online ready to take over.
And here we go in the bottom path. It looks like the Vaporeon and Blastoise doing pretty well, level 6 on the Blastoise. However, we do have Gyarados online for the side of Force Gaming, so that is going to be very difficult to deal with very soon. They just need to feed this thing experience. They've already got the effort gauge full. We've evolved to Mega Gary, but now we need that level 9 so we can really get the power out of this Pokemon.
Yeah, of course, the Mega Mode coming out in the Unite move activation here. As the scrap Trick Room is down, we're scrapping up top. Mimikyu gets kind of out of dodge. Despite that Trick Room being put down, no tricks for the side of Infamous Gaming as they know exactly where their target are. Here comes Gary getting into the mix quickly. Low on HP are a couple players in Infamous Gaming. They're finally able to dispatch that Blastoise.
And here we go, just ripping through the top path here. 10 seconds until Regieleki hits the map in the top path. Obviously, that does rotate here on this new map, but it looks like it will be top path for the rest of this match. Foul moving in with the Mimikyu, seeing if they can make something happen, having to peel back through that Trick Room. Dodrio trying to steal some of that experience. In the bottom path, we've got the Vaporeon and the Suicune battling it out down there for some of that experience. And we're going to see how these teams want to fight. Everyone backing off of this top objective.
Yeah, now we just have the Zacian and Mr. Mime squaring off in the top path here as the rest of the squads look to commit down to this Registeel. Vaporeon going straight for him, getting some eyes on the Force Gaming squadron as Infamous Gaming is taking advantage of their presence around this Registeel. Nice little surf push, pin against the wall. Registeel is low. Moving forward is Gizine. Force Gaming able to take that. Sorry, Angelzine said the wrong name there as the ultimate is out for Mega Gyarados, and they get a KO Shrika 2.
Yeah, huge Unite move right into Mega Gary. We now have 30 points scored in the bottom path. I did see that Suicune is the Surf Icy Wind build, so they are going with the newly buffed build on this Pokemon, but still playing it with the flavor of a bit of a support, and it's working out for Force as they break this bottom goal zone, 51 to 116. And with Gyarados online, now it's its job to show up to every single big fight that it can with the Unite move, and these Natus are going to help out a lot.
Yeah, a considerable amount of experience has gone to Force Gaming here in the last few exchanges. Hydro Pump is there. Another Unite move from Mega Gyarados going to go ahead and find some prime targets as one player is down, and they continue to push. Make it 2, and they're still standing. Finally, they go down. Dodrio gets credit for that, but it has the damage already been done. Zacian trying to get out. They get eaten up by Vaporeon. Hydro Typhoon out of Blastoise, and now it's Dodrio and the rest of Infamous Gaming pushing right now. Mimikyu pops their Unite straight into the Ice Age. Is that enough to stem the tide here? I don't think so. As Vaporeon's caught in the Trick Room, they get knocked out, and this is an absolute mollywop back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, we're just throwing punches both ways. Huge haymakers as we have 2 Unite moves expended from Force Gaming, not to mention the earlier Mega Gyarados Unite. Regieleki getting taken down there by the beautiful Unite timing of this Zacian. And we have multiple members of Infamous ready to defend here in this top path. We're going to see if Force wants to push this fight.
Well, they certainly have the personnel to do so, biding a little bit of time as they're jumping into the middle. Another Mega Gyarados Unite move popped, and now 2 players down as Force Gaming is forcing their way onto this T1. The wall is up from the Mr. Mime. A little confused blast is not enough to keep Force Gaming from taking this goal zone down.
And there it goes. Some bad math there by Force Gaming, but you're not too stressed out when you're having great fights like this. The Gyarados already level 12, and you can see Doob Snacks, they are just making sure this thing is well fed, moving around the map, getting all of the wild Pokemon it can, so that every big fight it has shown up with the Unite move. This one, it's going to be just short, though, as Infamous Gaming is ripping through Regice.
Regice is incredibly low. Force Gaming is getting bubbled out by those psychic barriers from the Mr. Mime, and it looks like at least the presence Force has is enough to bully back the opposing squad. Infamous Gaming is getting chased down a little bit. Hydro Typhoon eject button kicks up 3. Let's see if they can leverage it. Mimikyu Unite on the backside, tries to isolate a target. Ice Age is out. Dodrio Unite straight towards the pad, coming back with the drive-by, getting a couple knockouts. 3 players down from Force Gaming, and now Infamous Gaming almost leashed Force along and hit him with a mean counter punch and attacked this goal zone and broke it pretty flush.
I mean, that was beautiful from Infamous. I think we had, it might have been a full team freeze in that Suicune Unite move, but they still were able to battle through it and take them down. Definitely a scary one for Infamous, but they made it out on the other side as the victor. Also, Gyarados just barely not having a Unite move in that moment was not ideal for the side of Force. Vaporeon going to go down. Regieleki coming up right here, and it looks like Force is just going to rip through this here. One of the benefits of this Zacian is it can just, you know, cut through these objectives like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, and that's going to be useful if they ever decided to turn and attack this Kyogre when it populates on the map. Of course, a couple good secure tools, one of which is still that Zacian with its big Unite.
Here we go, 25 seconds now until we have our Kyogre. We see Gyarados having to peel away from this. You'd love for it to be level 13 if you could in this moment. The Mimikyu now dancing around the Trick Room right here obviously takes reduced damage from the range attacks outside of it, but they actually took a lot of damage right there. Muddy Water knocking up 3. Dodrio looking for possible moments. 2 minutes is now on the clock. We have Kyogre, and these teams have been scrapping this entire time. No one wanting to fully commit to this fight just yet. Blastoise resets back at the home goal zone, making their way into the fight. They are level 13, which means they get that big time shield from Surf Plus. Gyarados in trouble, heads underground.
Has to force out the Unite move. Now they're on the chase for a prime target. They want the Mewtwo, get stunned into the wall, and now right back, it's the showtime. Mr. Mime getting into the face of Force Gaming, put a lot of stress on, forcing out the Suicune Unite, does get the Blastoise. On the backside, Mewtwo's getting low, and the Vaporeon's gone as well. Force Gaming putting the pressure on. Zacian has been dispatched. Mr. Mime, that's a Mimikyu Unite taking care, and now it's just the Mr. Mime standing for Infamous Gaming. They're way down south, they're moving up. Can they make a miracle play? Lel steps up to try and create that separation they need to close the door on this one, and that is all of Infamous Gaming gone, and Force Gaming taking themselves a prime objective.
Beautiful fight there from Force. I mean, absolutely controlling the entire match. You called that great Mimikyu Unite move to kind of shut down the last that was around there. They were dancing in and out with some pretty big moments here. Gyarados getting very close to going down, but able to peel away from that fight. The waterfall on Mega Gyarados, just kind of crazy. Even if you're not hitting your targets, you're generating these shields. But Blastoise with a huge goal zone defense, they're fighting back.
They grabbed themselves a buff. Now the push is on. Mega Mewtwo X is going to help that out. Suicune's caught in the wall, pinned against it, and then blasted with the confusion. Big Surf back through is going to get themselves a knockout. 20 seconds, and now Infamous Gaming has to go score, though. They're chasing more knockouts. Dodrio's on the chase. for those points, of course. Force Gaming, Angel Zine is getting bullied, and Dodrio is going to get some points in up top, but are they actually committing enough to score? I don't think so.
Now, it doesn't look like it, especially with Gyarados running top to make a play happen there. It looks like this is going to be Force Gaming. Beautiful 100 cap in that tier 2 goal zone. Really great fight and defense there from the side of Infamous, but Force completely controlling the Kyogre pit and winning a huge victory in game number 1. You got to think, I mean, when you hand the team Mega Gyarados, you've got to be very scared.
Yeah, you absolutely have to be. You know, you see the strength of Mega Gyarados not only as
I agree. And, you know, a move that you had talked about here, Infamous Gaming, your purple team, Force Gaming, your orange team, game number 2 here of this best of 3. We are on the Groudon map. Something that you talked about, you know, moving in with that Fire Punch. You can hit them with the suplex, and then that Flare Blitz is also a sure hit that will allow you to chase down that Dodrio. So they've definitely got some options. As we have the Hoopa actually heading into the central area of Force, 2 players heading into the central area of Force, and boy, I sure would like to be seeing that right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would love to see what's going on with that. But
I mean, completely bullied. They were just watching the minimap. Completely bullied that Charmander out. Hoopa and Snorlax are leaving with, if anything, time 1 for their team.
Yeah, here we go. Dodrio in the top path. They are level 5. Charmeleon has hit level 5 in this bottom path right here as well. We got the Vaporeon now. Once it hits 4, it's pretty unbelievable. So this still feels pretty good for this fight. Vaporeon moving in, massive muddy water right into a Fire Punch. Hoopa has to run away. Dodrio missing the boosted, accidentally dashing into the wall, acting like a Talonflame.
And it was a great impression. Bulb is able to get out of there, and the Charmeleon is now back into its central area, whereas it, instead of being a critical knockout for a big character on the side of Infamous Gaming, it all kind of comes out in the wash, and you hate to see those opportunities missed.
And we see Dodrio now in the central area. They're being extremely aggressive with this Char, just trying to slow it down any chance they can get. Still a Charmeleon here, not yet level 7 as this fight is continuing.
Lel stepping to Fob and making sure that they are babysat very well here, almost escorting them all over the map. Meanwhile, we do have the Drizzile online. Angel Zine is there, and the Vaporeon, of course, online as well. Now, how will Infamous Gaming combat this when they have essentially all of the Pokemon they could have ever imagined, and this Charge Beam Miraidon lacing in heavy damage?
Here we go, looking for the secure right here, and they are able to get it there with the Miraidon. Force Gaming forced back slightly. However, in the top path, we have a 3 versus 1 as Dodrio is now running up to defend. 2 versus 1 here in this bottom path, but Inteleon just peeling away.
Must have gone pretty well for this Wartortle here, because they stopped that push quickly. And now that the reinforcements have arrived, Force Gaming can't really do much about it. They're scrapping over the birds here, and the pressure continues. The portal is down. Nobody's interested in going home. We're interested in dealing damage, son. Suicune takes a ton of that fully powered charge beam, but has just enough HP to get back to pad.
And here we go. We see them looking for this as well. Again, they're just trying to take every little bit away from their opponents here. Charizard actually in some trouble right here if they move in. Body blocking the tri-attack, however, so they are not able to take it.
Yeah, a good adjustment in body positioning so they don't lose the buff to their opponent. And now Force Gaming, I mean, they're looking 4v2 in the bottom path. Lel is showing up a little late to the party. But is this going to be enough to make a difference here? As Angel Zine is going to be looking to line up a sniper. They are liquidation. I saw the finger guns come out. They're liquidation.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense into this build. It is just one of those things where you don't expect a lot of players to pick it. I'm going to be honest. I think it's the granny shot of Pokemon Unite. You're going to get more free throws with it, but it just doesn't look as cool. So none of the pros play it. But this is a great setup for it.
Oh, the suplex is there. We're burning the countryside down. Shield from the block of Snorlax is not enough. They bite the dust. Hyperspace Highway is open. Everybody's rolling down for the fight, and that's a liquidation. Getting in tandem with the Charizard, another KO Shrika 2. Good surfing to the wall, Hydro Pump pins, but that is not enough to get the knockout. as the rest of Force Gaming is still hanging out, looking great, and that's a 40 banger going in from the Mega Char. They go unmega into regular Charizard mode as they try to Fire Punch Flare Blitz out of there. They're pinned back, and now all of a sudden they're getting blocked into the hands of the rest of Infamous Gaming. Rhydon secures that deal for themselves, and the fight rages on, Cowboy.
They're just going to have to peel back here, but Infamous is deciding to now take this fight to their goal zone. Really never stopping here for the past about minute and a half as we are brawling. Now this tier 1 being assaulted by Infamous, and it looks like Blastoise finally going to have to run away from this. What a crazy back and forth. I cannot believe how low multiple members of Force were, and they just kept pushing.
I agree completely. Something that's setting my alarm bells off, though, is Gohan on this Hoopa. It does not have its Unite move yet. And usually you'd want it by now so you can get a couple instances of it. But that mobility that Unite move provides is not going to be available to them at this time.
Boy, you're right. Look at that level 7 here, just ticking over to level 8. I didn't see if they had EXP share beforehand, but now I believe with the recent patch, we get to see it on their heads again. So I'm guessing this is no EXP share and you don't get to go home, Blastoise. Charizard's going to take you back to the Pokemon Center. Just a different way to make it there.
Definitely a different way to make it. Liquidation shots still coming through, and Angelzine has done a great job surviving these pushes as the Suicune Unite provides the cover that the Inteleon needs to get some points in. The surface there isolates the Mega Char. Now we got Meteors from space. Hydro Typhoon follows suit, and we're looking to push here. Angelzine finally does go down in this exchange. They're tired of those granny shots. They want to stop those ones from going in. Block into the wall, Suicune pinned. Is the follow-up there, Hydro Pump, Surf combo. And now it's just everybody focus firing down the Suicune and finally able to deal with it.
We're moving towards this goal zone, but we do have Vaporeon up here to attempt to stop this. Dodrio letting some points into that top path. We've got 40 from Blastoise, but no, they are not able to make the score happen. Hoopa, on the other hand, does have the Unite move and recognizes there's only going to be a few instances of using this. They need to use it now if they want to get another one here before Groudon.
Despite that big push, the score lead still remains firmly in the hands of Force Gaming. 65 points separating these two teams here. 55 points, my apologies.
Apology accepted.
Okay, fair enough. As we go through, is it 60 points? It's 60 points now. I don't know what it was before. Liquidation eviscerating the Regice. Force Gaming taking that for themselves. As now, what is this Blastoise doing? Just sussing out the situation.
Yeah, Blastoise just trying to take some of this away from the side of Force. You know, if you look at Force, we've got level 12 on this Inteleon, but when this move really becomes crazy is its plus version. You get more of these kind of like little finger gun bits of damage from Liquidation, and it really is a difference maker in some of these fights, especially for that Dodrio, a squishier Pokemon. Huge scores, 178, 226. Reggie Alecki now firmly in the hands of Force Gaming. 30 seconds until Groudon.
Take a deep breath. This fight is going to be a big one as we have the Unite move starting to populate for both of these teams. 20 seconds until Groudon arrives, and you know these teams want to fight it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have just been slugging back and forth all match, not afraid to take a fight. And that is 13 on the Inteleon. So these finger guns are going to be very powerful on Liquidation Plus. Going to do a ton of damage here. I've got Snorlax just resetting here before Groudon. Vaporeon jumping in. Looks like they slightly missed the flip turn there. Didn't get the shield. Now the Charge Beam is going to push everyone away. Snorlax actually in a little bit of trouble. They go down.
The Liquidation keeps it from the reset. They went a little too far. One domino is fallen. There's the suplex. Put them down. Now they're chasing the Blastoise. They surf into the wall and they get pinned themselves. The Charge Beam fully charged up doesn't hit anyone. Force Gaming looking to pivot. The back door is there on the Dodrio. Rings are unbound from the Hoopa. They've identified the Suicune. That's their target. The Ice Age is down. The push is there. Nice little power nap into the middle. Pops up 4. Is that going to be enough, though? It doesn't look like it. They're smothering this Snorlax. The Liquidations are back out. It's not enough to close the door on the Snorlax. Snorlax, but it's enough to send them packing for now. They're on the chase. This Miraidon can't enter anymore. They've got a 3-person position, does Infamous Gaming. There we go. That's a knockout easy. Groudon is on the verge of getting knocked out. Heavy Slam in the middle. Hydro Typhoon follow-up, and it's taken by the Inteleon. C-Bus, I believe. Well done. Who is on this Inteleon? Is it Angel Zine?
It is.
Answer my questions, Cowboy.
It is Angel Zine. What a play. The finger guns make it happen. The granny shot of Unite with a convincing victory. And you saw just that extra damage from the plus was able to take down Snorlax before they reset. And as soon as they had that Force Gaming pushed for a huge fight and a huge win. I love it when a team sees the win in front of them and seizes the opportunity. And that is what has happened with Force. Beautiful stuff there.
I mean, you're seeing the strength of these liquidations right here, chasing Pokemon into their home base. No one is safe here. Angelzine dodging the Miraidon charge beam and just laying in more liquidation shots. The Ice Age gets put down, and they're just racking up their knockout scores and just racking up the damage for the fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, what a fight from Force. And Charizard looked great. You know, you talked about it. They just set up a lot of plays where something was a little low, and they confirmed knockouts over and over and over again with this Unite move. They actually used it more often to confirm a knockout before they even considered to engage with it. So they waited until their opponent was low, then hit them with the start of the Char Unite, almost always starting the fight with a knockout, and then just continuing to push on them from there.
Yeah, and I mean, it became an easy rhythm for them, right? Because the liquidation was beginning to deal so much damage that you almost always had a target that just needed the confirmation of the KO, right? So it made the target